Everyone that it's new in this meeting. We have like two friends, they're coming for the very first time, and just to explain how exactly this thing works, we have a reading in the beginning. Usually we read from the book The Truth, The Way, the Truth, and the Light. Could be other books from Our Daily Bread and many other, and we make comments. And the comments are very simple. It's based on our knowledge, based on our experience. Of course, it not intends to fulfill all the aspects of that passage, but it brings the vision of the one that it's making the comments, so we can exchange this way of exchange this information and invite others to read the books that we are presenting at the beginning, at the beginning of the meeting. And now we are going to do our initial, the main part of the work, which is the lecture. And the passage that I'm going to read and we are going to make comments, it's a very interesting passage. It's on the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 20, verse from 1 to 16. And this passage is only found in the book on the Gospel of Matthew. And it says, it calls like the workers of the last hour. And it's very intriguing because we will see something we are going to read together, and we will see something that actually doesn't make sense in terms of the labor law that we are very well accustomed to in our daily lives. But it has a different meaning, a different significance. And we're trying together, because in a certain moment of the lecture, I am going to invite you to interact with me. And I want to hear from you. What do you think? What is your input? This is going to be more like a gospel at home, when we open randomly a gospel according to Spiritism and a passage comes out and we read and we make comments. Making comments of that specific passage, we imagine, we exercise some kind of moments, and allowing us, as Marcelo brought in the reading, in the beginning of reading, some kind of mediumship phenomena take place, and the inspiration messages coming from the beyond might be hitting our mind if we are open to listen and if we are humble enough to make these comments in a very meaning way, to understand what exactly is all about. Workers of the last hour. I told that this passage is only found in the book of the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 20, it's chapter 20, let's see here. Chapter 20, verse 1 to 16. But in the Gospel according to Spiritism, we will see on chapter 20 also this passage. And let's read it together. The kingdom of heaven is like the father of a family who went out at daybreak in order to hire workers to work in his vineyard. Having agreed with the workers that he would pay them 1 denarius per day. Denarius is one, it's a coin, it's a monetary instrument used back in those days. Per day, he sent them to the vineyard. It's interesting because the Jews has a different way to make this analysis. The day actually started at 6 o'clock in the morning and ends at 6 o'clock in the afternoon. This is how they do, so the first hour is the 6 o'clock in the morning. They have a different system to make, to time frame their day, work, exactly. So where I was, okay. He went out again at the 3rd hour of the day And seeing others who were in the square not doing anything, he said to them, "You go also to my vineyard, and I will give you what is reasonable." So he said different, not 1 denarius, what is reasonable. And we're going to make an analysis, we're going to break down this parable, and we will see. And I want to hear from you, what do you think? And they went there again, Again, he went out at the 6th and the 9th hours of the day and did the same. And having gone out at the 11th hour, the 11th hour means 5 o'clock in the afternoon, because the day for the Jews end at 6 p.m. So the 11th hour, from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., we have 12 hours. So the last hour, workers of the last hour, it means at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So, and then they went there. Okay, let me read it again. Again, he went out at the 6th and the 9th hours of the day and did the same. And having gone out at the 11th hour, it means like the 5 o'clock in the afternoon, he found others who were without anything to do and said to them, "Why have you stood around all day without working?" They told him that it was because no one had hired them. It means they were ready to work, but no one was hiring these workers. He then said to them, the father of a family, "You too go to my vineyard." And the parable goes on. When evening came, the owner of the vineyard said to the one who was taking care of his business, "Call the workers and pay them from the last to the first." Interesting. To the last to the first. He's not starting from the workers of the first hour. He's starting from the workers of the last hours. Thus, those who had not come to vineyard except when the 11th hour was near received 1 denarius each. Those who were hired first came in their turn, believing they would be given more. But each one received no more than 1 denarius. Upon receiving it, they complained against the father of the family, saying, These last work only 1 hour, and you have made them equal to us, who bore the load and heat of the day." So the father of the family, it's equalizing all the workers, and this man, the father, is paying exactly the same amount for all workers, no matter if they start in the beginning of the day or in the end of the day. It goes more. But in response, he said to one of them, the father of the family, "My friend, I have done you no wrong. Did you not agree with me on 1 denarius for your day's work? Take what belongs to you and go. As for me, I wish to give to the last as much as to you. Is it not permitted to me to do what I want?" The money belongs to him, so he does whatever he wants to do with this money. If he wants to pay $1 million, pays like a penny to someone, he said to the workers, "I am going to pay you 1 denarius, no more than less." And you are going to start in the beginning, because the invitation was done in the beginning of the day. The other one, he didn't say, "I'm going to pay you 1 denarius." It says like, "I'm going to pay you what is reasonable to my understanding." So this is intriguing, because it contradicts everything that we, with our human eyes, with our material perspective, and with our vision, understand who work more should be receiving much more. And is your eye evil because I am good? Thus the last shall be the first shall be last. For many are called, but few are chosen. Let's first, let's try to break and try to extract a few things from this parable. Who is the Father? What do you guys think?
God.
What represents the Father? God. Very good. Who are the workers? Us? All of us? All of us, yeah? You guys are very good. All of us. All the spirits. They're all invited to work in this field, in the vineyard. What is the vineyard? Life? Fantastic. But I broke like in a few parts. I put like the vineyard is our spirit. Then, once we work in our spirit, our home. And then let's go broader and more in a more broadened way, our society. And then when we go to all these steps, starting from us, because sometimes we want to do this wonderful job outside of us. We want to transform the world. We want to create something fantastic for everyone, forgetting that the first and the most difficult work to do, it's within ourselves. This is the great challenge, because once we acquire knowledge of ourselves, that we have to work inside of ourselves, all the rest are going to be added naturally. So small tasks in the small portion of this vineyard, which is not small, it's the biggest one, is ourselves, our spirit. And then we can jump to the second level, our home, which is our family members, people that live with us. Could be like our jobs, could be like the cell that we live, the place that we are insured, so we can exercise all the virtues that we still lack. And then, at the end, planet Earth. Little by little, little by little. What does the work entail? What do you think? He already said, yeah?
Living, whatever we do, activities,
Love.
being in one with God.
Yeah, okay. Charity, okay. People from the back, I know they're willing to say something. They're laughing, they have all full of ideas. Compassion.
Being a team with each other.
Huh?
Help each other.
Helping each other. Yes, yes.
Aware about ourselves.
Yes. What is all this all about? It's something, it looks like an inner reform, an inner transformation, discovering ourselves. Inner transformation, inner reform, inner enlightening, which means every one of you said a portion of these three parts of the answer. And we will see now different aspects of the worker of the last hour and the first hour. We have reincarnation. That's a fantastic part of the equation. Because when we have reincarnation, it means we have many chances to exercise all these virtues. We might be today the workers of the last hours because we were given a chance to still work in what we lacked in the past. And what I'm going to bring you, the Spirit Constantine, a protector spirit, brought to us in this message. Good Spirit, my dearly beloved, you are all workers of the last hour. The one who says, I began work at daybreak and I will finish only at nightfall, would be very proud. You all came when you were called, some a little earlier, some a little later. To the incarnation whose shackles you bear, However, for how many centuries has the Lord been calling you to his vineyard? Without your waiting to enter it, now is the time for you to receive your wages. Employ the time you have remaining well, and never forget that your existence, no matter how long it may seem to you, is only a fleeting instant in the immensity of time comprising eternity for you. When I see the differentiation between the workers of the first hours complaining about, I should be receiving much more money than the workers of the last hour, it reflects how we think with a vision, a very materialistic vision. But this parable, it's not about the concepts that we acquire based on the materialistic point of view. Jesus speaks in parables because there's always a meaning behind these messages and these parables. And what he wants to say is, when the moment of awakening reaches our spirit, our heart, the recompense, the wage is so good that it has the same value of the one that been working in this vineyard for a long time. What does it mean? We see in many churches, in many temples, when people suffering, when got like tired of suffering, and when they find a message of consolation, when they free themselves with the burden of moments of invigilance, and they find something new, it seems to them that they won a tremendous amount of money, a reward, a recompense, a treasury. So this parable, it's not about the money. It's about working at the Lord's vineyard. Working at the Lord's vineyard, it's not going to a church. It's not going to a spiritist center. It's not building churches and temples in a physical aspect, in the very materialistic aspect, which is very important too, of course. But working at the Lord's vineyard, and when we get acquired, when we get in touch with our essence, trying to understand, yes, I fail many times in life. I still have this feeling. I still have envy. We can see the workers of the first hour with experiencing envy about the last hours. And they supposed to do something different. Once we are, in Portuguese makes so much sense to me. Well, I'm so sorry to be so limited in English. But when we are working in the Lord's vineyard, experiencing the joy to share with others love, understanding, compassion, humility, in a much more profound way, we have acquired something that connects us. And then I'll bring Marcelo Paiva in his comment in the beginning of the reading. Mediumship, we are all mediums in a certain level. When the humble spirit inside of us opens up in a nice way, in a loving way, to connect with the good ones that actually inspire us in a way that we can be more happy, more happy. It's not the word, I'm trying to find the word, more plain, with plenitude, feeling the plenitude inside of our spirit, with fulfillment of our souls. We experience a payment that has no monetary value, has something much more broader than this. So we see in this parable the aspects of workers of the vineyard, and we can make and bring to, for example, a spiritist center. Or could be a church. I see people, when they cross that door, coming for the very first time, with a willing to work, with a loving heart. They know they still have a lot to overcome, all the obstacles that we still carry on, but they are tired to suffer. They are willing, they are ready to work, not to set the chairs and of course all of this too, but they are ready to work in the vineyard of their spirit. And we see also others that work in the Spiritus Center. I'm talking about the Spiritus Centers because this is where we work. The Spiritus Centers that have been working for a long time. And because they have this sort of seniority, they think they deserve more attention. But the seniority that they have has to be accompanied by more understanding, more humble feelings, more compassionate. And sometimes we see this. People that are here for a very long time, when they see someone coming for the very first time, and they start like engaging the work of the center, they see a sort of a competition. This guy, this lady just came here full of love and everybody loves him or everybody loves her, and I'm here for decades. This is really interesting. We do this kind of movement with sorting a sort of like a jealousy, a envy. How come they give like so much attention to this one? And we see it's exactly the same. I don't know, it makes sense? Or it doesn't make sense at all? So we have all these feelings. We have all these moments in life. So what happens inside of our spirit has to be constantly analyzed by us. What kind of feeling I am having at this moment? Why I am experiencing some kind of envy, jealousy? What kind of moments of hate I am experiencing? Because we know all emotions propagate a ray, emits this ray, like this vibration, could be connected to other spirits in the other realm of life that might be feeling exactly the same we are, potentializing what we are feeling and what we are having, and transforming that little moment in something tragic down the road. So making this analysis of what will we feel, what we are going to feel, are going to protect us from many, many things that might be ahead of coming. What is the workers of the first, the second, and the last hour? The spirit Henri Reine in Paris, 1863, brought to Allan Kardec in one of the mediumship's meetings a message really interesting. Jesus loved the simplicity of symbols, and in his powerful language, the workers who came at first hour were Moses, the prophets, and all the initiators who marked the stages of progress that has been continued down through the centuries. By the apostles, these are the workers of the second hour, the apostles, the martyrs, the church fathers, learned individuals, philosophers, and finally the spiritists, the workers of the third hour, the last hour. Spiritists, the last to arrive, have been announced and foretold since the coming of the Messiah, and they will receive the same recompense. The Lord is not measuring. It's not concerning about quantity. It's concerning about quality. The quality that the human being transform himself, being aware what the work that has to be done inside of ourselves. So this job, this work can be done in a more profound and more profound way. But what am I saying? A greater recompense, as the last to arrive. Spirits profit from the intellectual endeavor of their predecessors, because humans must inherit from humans, and their endeavors and results are collective. God blesses solidarity. Their wages, therefore, will be in proportion to the merit of the work. This is a portion of the item 3 that the Spirit Henry Heine brought to Allan Kardec in 1863. So it means, because of reincarnation, and we will see here, because of reincarnation, we might be, it's a possibility, that we were the workers of the first hours. We were given a chance to work in a vineyard, but we didn't take advantage of that possibility. And then we are going to repeat the lesson, being workers of the second hour. I'm not saying that we are apostles and martyrs, because we are not. But maybe philosophers, thinkers, people that like trying to understand how to deal better with our feelings, how to be more connected with the high spirituality. And because we didn't learn the lesson very well, we appear again in the scenario of life. We are probably, in many cases, and I'm saying this 100%, in many cases, we could be the same spirit traveling through incarnation, one after another, trying to, at this time, to do something better. And I'm not saying that we are going to do something fantastic, miraculous, the most miraculous thing, the most fantastic thing, the biggest challenge and the biggest work that we are going to do, with no doubt about it, it's not going to be outside of the world. It's going to be within. And this is the great challenge. Super great challenge. Let's read. Reincarnation, that wonderful tenets, that's the right pronunciation? Both immortalizes and defines spiritual affiliation, called to give an accounting of its earthly mandate. The spirit understands the continuity of the task, interrupted but always resumed once again. It seems and senses that it has seized in its flight the thought of its predecessors. It enters the arena again, mature by experience, to advance a little more. And all workers of the first and of the last hour, with their eyes opened to the profound justice of God, no longer complain, but simply worship. The ones that come first, if they had acquired the lesson, they simply would help the workers of the last hour, creating this moment of interaction, because the predecessors that came before us are sometimes, because of their elevation in the spirit realm, inspiring us so we can do what they've done long ago. And they're not concerning about who is going to make more money, who is going to receive more than the father of the family, because the reward is to be part of this work. The reward has no monetary meaning. The reward, it's broader than this. The reward is to be with a feeling that we are sons and daughters of the Creator of the universe. And if we are sons and daughters of the Creator of the universe, no matter what kind of religion we profess, because we are all sons and daughters. And these schools, Catholic, Protestants, Buddhists, Spiritists, so many, we all want to achieve one goal, to understand ourselves, to understand the relationship with the Creator, to be happy, to be fulfilled and playing with plenitude in our spirit, so we can always enjoy this moment of helping others with charity. What is the definition of charity? Love in action. When we put our love, and charity has in Spiritism a more broadened significance than simply giving away things. Charity, in the definition brought by the Spirits, it's understanding others, forgiving others with comprehension, with tolerance, this is much more than the material aspects. Understanding this, we are going to be with more plenitude. Why do the workers of the last hour receive the same wage of the workers of the first hour? And we mentioned this because to be immersed in this vineyard that represents the work of the Lord it represents us to be connected with the source of all things. The source of all things is God. Being connected with the source of all things put us in a position of abundance, because we live in the miserable conditions, always wanting things, material things. I need more, I need to acquire, I need to accumulate, and we are simply, we're going to inherit the universe. But inherit the universe in a way that we don't understand yet. And almost everyone in this lifetime behaves in a way that we have, oh my God, I have to catch this opportunity. This is the job of the moment. This is the wife that I want to have, the husband. This is something that I have to grab as soon as possible because I'm going to lose it. We're not going to lose anything. Everything is transitory. In this lifetime, everything was given to us as a didactical material so we can learn how to deal with this. Even our body are going to stay here when we cross to the door of the other side of life. So what kind of deeds we are going to be with us are our actions, good or bad. And the actions that we are having are going to place us in a position, in the spiritual position, that we are going to receive the wages, the payment, depending with the connection, the vibration that we are going to have, that we are having. The last item, it's interesting because this is an invitation for the Spirit's workers to work in collaboration. There's no such a work that I am the best speaker. I'm sure I'm not the best, but I am that's for sure. I'm the best humble man. I'm the super nice. I'm the best president of the federation. I'm the best priest. I'm the best pastor. I'm the best father. No. We all work in collaboration towards the good of the collectivity. And it says, the time is near for the fulfillment of those things proclaimed for the transformation of humankind. Blessed will be those who have worked in the Lord's field selflessly and with no other motive than charity. Their work days will be paid 100-fold more than what they expected. Blessed will be those who said to their fellow men and women, brothers and sisters, let us work together and combine our efforts so that the Master may find the work accomplished at his coming. For the Master will say to them, come unto me, you who have been good servants, you who have known how to silence your jealousies and discord, so that no harm would come to the work. The message goes on, but I only extract this passage, and was given by the Spirit of Truth in Paris, 1862. Based on this, I want to hear from you. Now the lecture ends, my part, Now I want to hear from you guys. Yes.
Marcelo,